What's up, Mafia? Today we are going to be watching a video about a girl who got pregnant by her dog. I hate people. So, anyways, which it probably is your first time because this is like my second video on this channel because I barely post on here, but I'm gonna start posting on here. But, anyways, like I was saying before I totally cut myself off, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Join the Problem Children Mafia. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, we're fun. So, today we're going to be watching a video about a girl who got pregnant by her dog. If I didn't say it already, and if I did, I'm just going to cut that part out. Like, duh. So, anyways, let's just get into the video.
Hello there. My name is Darlene. I come from a pretty big family, where growing up meant standing outside the bathroom in a line to wait your turn. I was always surrounded by people. Not that I didn't love my family, but it was suffocating at times. The moment I was old enough and had saved enough money to afford my own place, I moved out of my family home to start my own life. But before I go on, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so
You heard her. She said that herself. She really said that herself. Come on, subscribe, join the Mafia. You know what I'm saying?
don't miss out on any more awesome
Of
videos.
my awesome videos.
Now, I don't regret that decision, not even a little bit, but I grew up surrounded by people. The sudden silence and lack of people was startling and almost unsettling. I found myself lonely for the first time in my life, and I realized I missed the company of someone with me. I was alone in my own home. I was young, and frankly, I was a bit afraid. I figured the best way to counteract this problem without having to find a roommate was to consider adopting a pet. I knew dogs were great for protecting your home and showing
So you adopted a pet to have sex with it? It's not adding up.
unconditional love, so I decided to adopt a dog. I wound up finding a wonderful border collie at a local shelter, and I knew I just had to have him. Now, my dog is by no means destructive or aggressive, but it's obvious that he had never had any training in his life. He liked to chew my things instead of his toys, he marked the walls of my house by peeing on them, and he just flat out didn't listen to me. I was beyond frustrated until my friend Emily found a solution for me. She told me she had seen an advertisement for a dog trainer the other day and promised to give him a call. The next day, she returned to my home with this tall, sleek man who she introduced as my new dog trainer. The man shook my hand and told me his name was Jacob, and that he was a self-proclaimed dog whisperer. He was pretty cute and quite charismatic, but I was skeptical that anyone could rein in this enthusiastic collie. Turns out, Jacob was borderline magical and proved to be quite the competent trainer. My dog stood no chance disobeying him, and he eventually started to bend to his will. Jacob taught my dog so many things: how to sit, how to lie down and heel, shake hands, the whole trick package. Not only that, but he even conditioned my dog to do his business in specific corners in my yard. That made cleanup so much easier, and I no longer stepped in unseen dog crap with my shoes, which was a definite bonus. He even brought my dog inside after a couple of weeks and started teaching him how to open doors. I was doubtful that this dog could accomplish such a feat, but boy was I surprised. This man could get dogs to open doors, and it was absolutely astonishing to see him work. I often found myself observing him while he worked, watching his stiff and precise hand movements and listening to the strictness in his voice. I don't think I ever stood a chance not falling for this guy. He was definitely easy on the eyes, and he could go from sweet
I just want to get to the part when she's messing with the dog. Like, can we skip this whole introduction, please?
and charismatic to firm and dominant in less than a second. I had a serious crush on this guy by this point. There was only one problem with the whole situation.
She's in love with her dog.
Whenever Jacob showed up to do his dog training, Emily would more often than not be right behind him. It was hard to get a private moment just to talk with him or even ask a question with her always looming over my shoulder. Emily is a great friend, don't get me wrong, but she was seriously blocking me by showing up all the time when he was here. She even had the audacity one day to ask him to train her own dog while he was.
Well, does your friend? I wasn't paying attention to her name. It's important. But does your friend know that you like him? Like, you can't get mad at your friend if she don't know. Just because you say somebody cute don't mean anything. Like, you can be cute and not want them.
busy helping mine. Like, excuse me? You come into my house and take my trainer? I was furious when she embraced him and thanked him for agreeing. I was close to just kicking her out of my house. But I kept my cool and let it go. He was a great trainer, and it isn't like he didn't have other clients anyway. I was just being shrewd and jealous over nothing. At least, that's what I thought, until Emily's birthday rolled around. Emily invited me to her birthday party, which is nothing out of the ordinary. It was a little strange that she also invited Jacob, but I suppose she saw him often enough that it wasn't that weird. I dressed up a little to maybe get his
A
attention.
little, come on now. That's that. I wanna go have sex with you know. Okay, you know. Okay.
While I was there, and headed to the party. When I got to the party, however, I barely got inside her house when I saw them together. She was leaning all over him, laughing, and she suddenly turned her head and kissed him. I was
And that's when she gets the revenge and goes for her dog.
stunned and pretty hurt to see this, admittedly pretty envious of her. I felt super awkward after that, and my anxiety skyrocketed the longer I stood in the doorway watching them. I wound up simply turning back around and leaving the way I came. I mentally beat myself up in my car for just standing there like an idiot and then leaving like a coward. I decided if I really
At least she knew what she was doing. You know, some people can't admit that.
wanted him to be with me, I needed to get a little bolder too. After that incident, I decided to stop waiting for him to come to me. I created a whole new set of outfits just for when Jacob came over to try and catch his attention. I'm talking mini skirts and chunky heels, the whole package. Is it shameful? Maybe a little, but I was getting desperate at that point.
I don't consider myself a particularly ethical person, but I'm fair.
Wawa Sizzly breakfast sandwiches or Sizzly burritos are just 2 for $4. Gotta have a Wawa.
I remember he was teaching my dog to retrieve items, and I bent over to pick up the item right in front of him. I really cut the subtlety out of my behavior and just tried to make it super obvious for him. I was like the dog now,
Bro, why you can't just tell them that you like them? That's crazy. Alright, I don't like it. Alright, so I don't like it when like girls or guys like if they like me and they like start doing stuff to like weird stuff. Like, you know, like just say you like me. Like, you know, don't look at me. Like, you know, don't look at me. I don't like when people look at me. You don't touch me. Don't do provocative things in front of me because that made me think that you're a hoe. Like, don't do that.
through hoops trying to gain a little positive attention from this man. I wasn't sure if it was the clothes, the subtle flirting, or a combination of the two, but I was able to get him to open up a bit more and talk to me. It was a good start, but not exactly the reaction I was looking for. One day, we wound up getting into this deep conversation about if shock collars were humane. I barely remember what he said, it was incredibly boring, but he seemed extremely passionate about it. He was right up in my personal space, hands doing those really controlled, precise movements as he explained his belief. In the middle of his speech, I wound up just leaning up to kiss him, seeing the passion in his eyes and reading the situation for what I thought it was. He paused mid-sentence and grabbed me by my shoulders, gently pushing me away. I could see by his expression he was a bit surprised, if not frightened. He looked away and asked if he was done for the day so he could leave. Then he excused.
Whoa, that must have been awkward. Like, just imagine, like, your crush just sitting there and you say, oh my gosh, we're in a moment. Like, he's wide open. Let me just go kiss her. And then he's like, can I leave now? Like, I would have excused myself. Like, I would have been like, you can have my house now.
Himself. I felt like an idiot for misreading the situation, and I wound up just sitting with my dog and spilling my woes to him the rest of the night. I was surprised he showed up again the next day, but I was also glad that he did. I sat him down and decided to apologize and talk through my thought process with him. He took it in stride and started talking about himself as well, and I figured an awkward friendship was at least a good consolation prize. Then he suddenly leaned down and kissed me, and my brain just kind of short-circuited and stopped.
Bro, what happened? Why he couldn't just kiss her when she like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know what to say. Like I'm just done. Like what the heck? Like, and then she looks like this. Like, oh my gosh, like now just lead her on. I bet you he gonna be like, oh, but I can't go out with you.
Processing. I was pleasantly surprised, as I was sure I had destroyed any chance of a relationship after my mistake the day before. My front door opened again, and Emily walked through the door as she normally did when Jacob was training my dog. She saw us kissing and nearly exploded at the sight, beginning to scream at Jacob, who stood up and tried to make his way past her. They both went outside and started arguing, but I didn't feel comfortable eavesdropping on what it was about.
Oh my gosh, had something happened to me, I'd be at my door like with a cup at my ear, like, hello? Like, what's going on?
Jacob wound up leaving, and Emily came inside and started to argue with me instead. She shouted at me that they were in a relationship and I shouldn't be messing with him.
But bro, she didn't know. Just because you look at her, like y'all could have been at that party, and to be the utmost, you or him or both of y'all could have just been drunk out of your minds and would have been kissing. Like that don't just because y'all kissed once, and I'm just gonna say this like for everybody that's watching this. If you kiss somebody one time, that does not mean that y'all are going out. If y'all kissed one time, if y'all kissed a few times and y'all not going out, if it's not official, it's not official, then let it. Like if you want it, then ask. Like it's not that hard. You know, like wait, pause. Anyways, let me just play the video.
Started crying and told her I had no idea, my heart crumbling to pieces. She stormed out and slammed my door, and I just sat there with my dog again, feeling sorry for myself. I managed to pull myself together and called.
Bro, I'm just done because like what happens? Like she keep on talking about her dog, but she's not talking about what happened between her and her dog. Did your trainer teach your dog how to do this to you? Did you just say like, oh, I done lost my best friend and I lost the guy that I like. Hey dog, come here. Like you keep on talking to this dog. Like in the midst of y'all talking, is this dog like going ham on you or something?
Jacob, requesting that he not come back over. He seemed surprised and asked me why, in which I explained I knew about his and Emily's relationship. He scoffed and assured me she was just lying about it, and I felt a little.
See, look what I said. You see what I said? Like that's what I mean. Like people are crazy.
Hopeful. He came back after I told him Emily was gone, and suggested that he take me to
And
dinner
he come back and pull up with a knife.
to make up for the whole mess. Of course, I agreed, and went to change my clothes in my room to something a bit nicer. While I was undressing, though, my dog decided to show his trainer how good he had gotten at his little tricks. So when I closed my door and started changing, my dog opened up the door for him. I was just standing there, half nude and looking like a deer in headlights. Jacob was staring right back at me, looking just as surprised
He
as
wasn't looking at your face though. I can tell you that as a fact. I wasn't even looking at her face.
I was. A few moments of awkward silence passed between us before Jacob just entered my room without a word.
What the heck? How do you just walk in? I would have called the police. I would have been like, back up, back up, back up. Like I would have no. How do you just walk into somebody's room like you see I'm naked and you just gonna come in my room like you're crazy?
What happened next, I'm sure you can guess, but I can't exactly explain it in detail. 3 weeks later, I was feeling crummy and exhausted all the time. I found out I was pregnant and knew I had to tell Jacob.
It was a threesome.
I asked him to meet me at a local cafe so I could explain the situation to him. When I told him I was pregnant, though, he got really pale and shaky. He told me he wasn't ready, that he couldn't support a child emotionally or financially. I just sat there in shock as he hurried out of the cafe, in disbelief that he just ditched me the moment he knew I was pregnant. I just stared into my empty coffee cup, unsure of what I was going to do now.
He knew that baby wasn't his. That's why he did that. He knew that baby wasn't his. He said, "No, that baby is the dog's. I had a rubber on. You know, dogs don't really wear rubbers. I mean, I don't think they do. Like, do they? Do they? I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up. That's weird. That's weird. I do not need that on my search history. But anyways, guys, like I guess that's all of the video today. Maybe if I'm bored, I'm going to do another video. I seen that video about the girl who got pregnant at 14 or whatever. We might watch that. You know, get into that a little bit. But anyways, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that video because I want to know how her baby's gonna come out. Like, will her baby come out a human or would it come out like this? Did y'all see that? Y'all see it now? Well, yeah. Like, how will her baby come out? Like, if it's a human dog hybrid thing, can humans even get pregnant by a dog? Because like Or can a dog get pregnant by a human? Somebody weird tell me. Somebody who knows tell me, because I'm not looking that up. That's weird to be in my search engine. But anyways, I mean, the dog did open the door. I'm gonna stop contemplating on it. I'm just gonna end this video off, you know. So I hope you guys like enjoyed this video. Make sure you, if not already, like this video and join the Problem Children Mafia by subscribing. Duh, I don't know why you haven't done that yet if you didn't. And make sure you comment your favorite color, and I will like your comment or something like that. You know, like get to know the people, you know, my fellow ladies and germs. I don't know. All right, bye.